Would you like to check in with me?
I'd love to check in with you. Let me tune into my body here.
Okay.
I'm like a green 4, green 5.
Wow.
That's high on a scale
Green
for
4,
me.
green
That's
5.
above average. Yeah,
That is above average.
I'm feeling inspired. I'm feeling creative. I just had a beautiful afternoon with a friend.
Inspired,
some
creative.
Pizza in a new
Friend,
neighborhood.
pizza, neighborhood.
Lots of good things to be green about.
Lots of good things to be green about.
What about you? Check in. How are you really feeling? How is David William Pierce? Pierce. It's actually Pierce, but I just call him Pierce, you guys.
Thank you.
How are we doing?
Did you feel complete in that?
I feel complete.
Okay. I can't quite. Yeah, I was distracted by that momentarily. I'm trying to. I heard what you said. Now I'm trying to remember what you said. Is that okay?
That's okay.
Okay. Green 4, 5.
Yep.
Pizza, friend. Last night.
Inspired.
Inspired. Thank
Creative.
you. Creative. Got to remember I'm holding mic. I don't have to though.
Yeah, you don't have to.
This is so I purposefully went for one where I could use my hands.
He was like, I don't want to have to use my hands. And yet he was still using his hands.
Okay, my check-in.
Check-in.
Feel sensation in my chest. Sensation here as well. It's different. Ooh, hands are cold. I've had a P-word day.
Oh, we don't talk about that. The P word is an A word.
Oh, and it's gone.
P word day. Sensation in the head that is different than sensation in the chest.
Yeah. I feel good. I don't like grounded. Yeah, not.
That doesn't sound grounded.
Even
that motion was like, I'm going somewhere. Space.
In space.
In space.
I'm appreciating that belief into centeredness. And like a settled nervous system, despite the chaos in the world that's going on right now. And so I'd say green 2, 3 right now.
Green 2, 3.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't have the. I wasn't allowed to the temple naturally, a women's temple. So I'm getting secondhand temple.
There, that's for sure. No, you would have loved to have been there. It was an amazing night.
Tell me, what happens at a women's temple?
Well, it depends on who's curating the temple. My temples, everyone is a little different. But last night, let me just paint a picture for you for a second. So women arrive, they're incredibly beautiful. Some women have been in our spaces before from other events. Other women have never been here, don't know who I am, but they came because they felt the intuitive ping. There's curiosity there, and I love that.
Curiosity.
So the women arrive here, do the experience. What's behind it?
The mystery experience.
The mystery, exactly. We're talking about seduction last night, and already that word creates such a felt sensation for people. It might be edgy, it might be exciting, it might be erotic, it might be a little nervous, right? But just the energy when you say the word seduction elicits something inside of people.
That would be an interesting conversation to have. How do you like to be seduced? Not for right now, but...
Yeah. It reminds me, I think we asked something similar. Oh, it's like at flirt. We were like, how do you like to be flirted with? And people were like, I have never thought about that
As long as
before.
someone's talking to me, it's fine. As long as it's just another living body there willing to engage with me.
So they go and they change and they're dressed down into like little sexy leopard print bikini and thong bottoms. They've got sexy kimonos on, lingerie. Not everybody, but some. And so, yeah, we just got to explore the energetics behind seduction, what it feels like to be seduced, and what it also feels like to be the seducer.
Oh, which do you prefer?
Right. And how both can be incredibly vulnerable. Like we had one comment where she was witnessing her best friend. They've known each other for like 20 years. And she was witnessing her friend and she noticed this, like, she felt vulnerable watching her friend in this way for a moment. But then all of a sudden she like came back to presence and realized like, wow, if she could see the beauty that I'm seeing in her in this moment, she would fucking go crazy. You know? And I think it's these really beautiful moments in Women's Temple where we, one of our dear friends, Eli, said it best. She's like, we're such beautiful mirrors for each other. And I really enjoy that. So temples, for me, women's temples and other temples get to be an experience of that, where we are reflected in each other, no matter where we're at on our journey.
Okay, so like really seeing someone honestly in a vulnerable space.
In a vulnerable space where they're also like so beautiful. Right. You can see that they're nervous. You can see the progression into like feeling more embodied and connected. That gives you permission to feel more embodied and more connected.
So there's a sovereign power piece in there.
Oh, amen. So yeah, really nice.
The same was true for the temple we did.
Yeah, I agree.
That was also very much a mirror and an opportunity for people to.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So today I'm so excited because let us know how you're feeling in the chat and in the comments. For the last like 2-ish weeks, David's kind of been like the interviewer in these podcast episodes. And I was like, today we're going to talk a little bit about what David has been studying, because I want myself, us, and also all you out there that continue to watch this and follow along, a little bit more about Tantra, because we haven't explicitly talked about Tantra that much. It's always woven into the fabric of what we're talking about, and it makes guest appearances, so to speak. It's like, oh, that's very tantric. It's like,
we'd love to have some guest appearances on if you're interested.
Yeah. And so exploring a little bit more, I had a curiosity around.
What would you like to know, dear?
What in your tantric studies have you been exploring that brings up a lot of curiosity? Maybe that like also maybe like rubbed some edges a little bit. Like what have you been studying that has stood out for you lately that you're like, whoa, I'm going to sit with that. I need to sit with that and process that through my Aligned Living Collective.
So for those of you who aren't aware, on one day a week, I commit to tantric study. And I've been digesting Christopher Harish Wallace's Tantra Illuminated, as well as other works, for the last 5-something years, maybe 6 years. And
that's a long time.
It's a long time. That's a long time I've spent, yeah. And I think this is number 20, my 22nd consecutive week of study. Where, thank you. Not as long as my Duolingo streak, but getting there.
More intense, I think. More intense content.
Yeah, it's where it's not one a day. It's like one a week.
Yeah.
To commit to one a day, that would be... You're doing that with your Bible study. You're not creating something like this for other people, but you're sitting with it every day.
Yeah, I sit with my Bible every day. But am I reading an entire chapter? Sometimes no. Sometimes I'm just sitting with like 2 verses, or sometimes I do read a whole chapter, you know. So I do sit with it every day, yes. I still think you do that, but just in other ways. Like you're bringing it into your everyday through the continuous processing, through the writings that you do for the Aligned Living Collective, through the conversations that we have.
And for my own writing.
Yeah, your own writing.
I write every morning. Like a full page, pretty much.
You can't see it. And it'd be hard to read even if you could see it, but it's
Do you
there.
think so?
Sometimes.
It's bigger than it used to be.
It is bigger than it used to be. And it is slightly more legible than it used to be.
It is slightly more.
You know you have an issue when you can't read your own handwriting, and David has that issue quite often.
Sometimes.
He's like, "What? I don't even know what that word is."
I've tried to rush my thoughts out onto paper, and it just is illegible. Couldn't read any of it.
It's because he has so many thought streams coming in at once. If he doesn't get it down super fast.
Well, this is the thing. I'm learning to slow down. And that's why my writing has gotten bigger.
I'm adjusting things.
And
more patience, more presence.
And that's why it's become more legible, because it's more considered.
Love that.
I'm enjoying getting to slow down a little bit.
I also enjoyed that.
That is one of the things that the practice has given me.
Tell me more. I just wanted to interview you. Slowing down, you're enjoying that way.
Slowing down. So taking the time rather than just listening to the audiobook, which is so quick compared to reading, which takes a little bit longer, compared to actually writing, which takes even longer, and then creating something for someone else, which takes
It's a whole process.
It is a whole process. And honestly,
that's what makes your writing so good, I think.
Thank you. I'll receive that compliment. I noticed my desire to want to not.
Work in progress.
Work in progress. Changing, slowing down. Yeah, thank you for that compliment. It's strange to be doing this because it makes no logical sense to do this.
In what way? Why do you say that?
How many other people are doing this?
Maybe. I bet there's others like you. But maybe they're a rarity. Because you guys are unique butterflies.
The 1%.
Yeah, the 1%. Exactly. You guys are the 1% that are like, whoa. I imagine.
I've read something. I have to write it down and transcribe it for other people.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're taking something that, because I remember when you first introduced that book to me and I was starting to read it, and I was like, you have to be at a certain level of understanding or have a desire to
really
pick it
understand
apart
it.
In order, it's the same. The Bible's the same. Right? You just kind of read it and you're like, I don't.
You got to really want to.
There's a story here, but I'm not really sure what it means or why I'm reading it.
It's interesting. I find that I'm doing that with Tantric study, and you're doing that with
Christian theology.
Judeo-Christian. And we're meeting in the middle.
Yeah. Am I a full-blown Jesus girl or am I a Gnostic Jesus girl? We don't know. We're still unpacking that. I'm just a God woman. I'm just a God woman in general. I think I've always been a God woman.
The idea of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd say that's one of the things this study has given me as well, is I've been so inward looking to actually turn the lens around and recognize the giving that way.
What do you mean by that?
Trying to figure it out.
What do you feel like was the shift that brought you so inward? Like what's the difference between now and then?
So I think the best way for me to answer this is that this week's integration question is, what if they're doing their best? And the whole chapter is about good versus evil and the existence of good versus evil, what that actually means.
Does it exist?
Are people bad? Evil? And the idea being, what if everyone's just doing the best they can with what they know right now?
That's so compassionate.
Yeah.
I feel like that phrase, like when that phrase came into my life, I was like, okay, that does soften my particular edge or my particular judgment that I was casting, consciously or unconsciously. So I was like, oh, what if my family is doing the best they can with the resources they have? When I really tuned into that, I was like, okay, that does shift something on a somatic level. It shifted things for me, but also just in like a more forgiving way. It created space for more forgiveness. So it's interesting.
Forgiveness, compassion.
Yeah.
And what about how that shows up in our dynamic?
Who's the good one and who's the bad one? You guys can take a guess. Tell me more. Tell me what you mean.
Compassion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the same applies, right? I think about our challenges as a relationship, but I think like entrepreneurship is such a great illuminator of this, where if we think about where we're at on our individual entrepreneur journeys, for instance, you're a newer entrepreneur. I'm not a veteran by any means, but I've been doing entrepreneurship since 2018. And so when we talk about like sometimes the challenges that you have in entrepreneurship, again, it's like you're like, I've never done this before. These are new challenges, right? So I could, from a more seasoned than you, have this kind of like perspective of hardness, which has shown up sometimes, right? Of just like, oh my gosh, how do you not know the things to do? But in that moment, when I'm like tapping into this mantra, if we want to call it that, right? This affirmation, this like statement, then I'm like, oh, right. How would he know to do those things? Like, how would he know to do those things? He's never had to do them before.
And no one's ever told him.
Right. So I think,
and this is not just for me, this is for everyone. If you haven't done something before and no one's told you how to do it, you're doing the best you can with what you know.
Yeah, and you're trying to figure it out
out. Rather than get upset with that person,
Yeah.
if you know better, tell them, because the onus is then on you to have told them rather than get upset.
Exactly. So I think that particular statement and phrase can be incredibly supportive for just kind of like the energy that I get from that, or the somatic experience that I get from that is like this, like, I'm just going to take a breath.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my foot off the gas for a second, and I'm just going to like zoom out of my own emotional state and my own frustration to kind of give you, it's also the same of like, can I give you the benefit of the doubt? Like, do I think you're out here doing this intentionally? No.
Could you do better? Sure.
Could you do better? Sure. Are there people out there that are just like fucking shit up for real with vengeance? Absolutely. So it's like, maybe that still is them doing the best with the resources they have, and maybe violence is that resource.
It is.
And I don't know where the line is.
It's
because morality is so subjective. If you guys know the answer, please let us know in the comments.
What was the question?
I said I didn't know where the line was because morality is so subjective between good and evil or good and bad. I was just telling.
So this is, yeah, go on.
I was just telling our friend at lunch that and you can correct me if I'm wrong actually, how I was perceiving Tantra in relationship to things being good or bad is that nothing is inherently good or bad. However, we as humans have placed labels on experiences that are good and bad based upon our moral subjectivity. That's where it starts to get really, really nuanced, because your bad and my bad might actually be very different. Or there are varying degrees of badness that go to a threshold at some point. So it's like, when do we cross over? When we just completely don't care about humanity and the safety, or if we just like forget how to access love. So I'm super curious your thoughts on this.
Can you condense that into a sentence of a question? Por favor.
What are your thoughts on good or bad?
Thank you. I think what you said there about them existing subjectively, it's true. We will have what's good for you is not necessarily good for me. And what's bad for me isn't necessarily bad for you. It's subjective. Then the challenge in that is, how do you find agreement?
Do you need to?
Well,
that's also a deeper question, I think.
Agreement in the sense of harmony. Otherwise, it's in a perpetual state of disharmony.
But what is it like if, because harmonizing isn't two people on the same note, it's two people moving in the same rhythm, expressing within the same rhythm. So we could do that parallel to each other.
Sure, it's like in an orchestra.
Notes.
An orchestra is in harmony, but they're not all playing the same note. Otherwise, that would just be incredibly boring.
Well, yeah, and they're all going on different journeys, but it still creates a really beautiful song in theory if they're good at it.
Yeah, they all harmonize. When
just makes music.
When they're in harmony, that's music.
Mm-hmm.
And then dance is movement through that or from that.
See.
And so then it's not necessarily about good or bad, but for the benefit of all beings, for the benefit of the collective.
Mm-hmm. I think Jesus would agree.
So I would agree.
Jesus is on board with that.
You get a tick from Jesus. Jesus is on board. He is a full yes.
Jesus would do that. To answer the question of what would Jesus do, he would do that. It's about harmony. It's about restoring balance and love.
So if there were an orchestra playing, or five instruments were playing, and another instrument wanted to get involved, if they can add to it for the benefit of the harmonies,
that's where the bass comes in.
Harmonization. Like if it doesn't throw off anything, then add it. But if it does throw off the band, then you got to go.
This is just because we're speaking about music for a second. I'm like, this is where I feel like jazz shifts gears, right? Because sometimes you listen to jazz and you're like, what is happening? But only once you're attuned to jazz does it start to make sense to you. I thought about the same with like drum and bass. For a while, drum and bass, I was like, this doesn't make sense for my body to move this way. But other people, it works for other people. And then at some point, that particular style clicks. And I'm like, okay, now I can hear what's happening.
Move in it.
Yeah, exactly. So I wonder, I feel like perspectives are kind of the same. Some people are jazz bands, some people are symphonies, some people are metalheads, some people are, so it's like kind of, how do we hold space for all of that? There's many dualities in there.
Many.
But all, with harmony at the root, would you say? Even though they're different, let's say subgenres, at the root is harmony. The ability to harmonize.
I think the reason people go to watch is because of the harmony. If it didn't sound, okay, let's put it this way. When parents go and watch their kids and they're making music, but they're not quite just dialed in. Yes. They're there not because it sounds good, but because they love their kids and they're there to support them. Mm-hmm. But when it sounds good, you draw in tens of thousands of people, not just the ones who are there out of love. They're there out of joy.
Yeah.
That harmony.
I mean, when we went and saw Block Party here in Mexico City, it was so interesting because everybody's singing songs. You guys are all in harmony because of this one group of musicians came together to create something that was powerful and magnetic and beautiful and resonant. And
reminds me of that Jacob, what's his name? Jacob, he's the British guy who conducts people.
I have no idea.
If you know. Okay.
So how does this relate to relationships?
Okay. So that line of what if they're doing their best, rather than getting frustrated with you or him or a family member, like I did this week, have a challenging conversation.
Or an inanimate object.
They're just doing their best. If the TV could turn itself on, it would.
Do it. I trust it would do it.
If Alexa knew how to... Nothing, dear. You're great.
Yeah.
You're golden. Love
Yeah.
you. You're doing your best.
Thank you for doing your best. Yeah. Girl, you try.
But then also for myself, it'd be so easy for me on those weeks when anxiety and life's challenges get the better of me to wallow in that. But then to say, you know what, you're just doing the best you can right now. Do better. But take a moment to wallow, to pause. And sometimes a moment is a couple.
Yeah.
And then if you could do better, you would be doing better.
Yeah,
the line is everyone is doing the same thing, and that is trying to maximize their life for happiness and enjoyment.
I mean, we're just out here trying to live, bare minimum.
And that's really behind what everyone's doing. They're just trying to maximize how happy they are and what they have. The important shift for me has been that sense of one consciousness expressed through infinite pairs of eyes. And I think with Stephen's stuff, it's so, what if you just trusted you were taken care of because you're still here? And be patient in that. Take action. Don't do nothing. Trust. Belief.
That's been a big one for you this week.
Belief.
That's been a hot topic.
Tell me more.
Belief.
7 minutes.
There's a circling that I notice happens with you around belief, where sometimes you feel really dialed into belief and other times not so much. And so I feel like belief in spirit, belief in self, this is probably reflected in a lot of different areas in your life, perhaps, where there is this constant kind of orbiting around it. Am I tethered to it? Am I not tethered to it? Why am I not tethered to it? What helps me deepen into it? No, the act itself.
Of belief.
Of belief. Like whether or not you believe, that is the thing that you orbit. Like that general question.
Oh,
what's up with my belief? Sometimes I do believe, sometimes I don't.
Like the consistency. It's not like, oh, I'm going to run the marathon. I don't know if I'm going to run the marathon. It's just like, I'm running the marathon. It's happening. It's happened.
So rather than the conviction and the straightforward movement, we're just kind of orbiting around. Am I doing this or am I not doing this? I believe or don't I believe?
One of the chapters in Think and Grow Rich is decisiveness and how making a decision
you gotta have it.
Is important. The value of it.
Yes, otherwise you're just stuck in a perpetual state of
duality.
What the F is happening? Is it this or is it this? I was actually just talking with I had an integration call with a client where we stopped working together a couple months ago, and she's kind of stuck in this, it's like decision fatigue, because she's so stressed. Like her baseline is very stressed. Her nervous system is pretty often always in this overthinking yellow state. And I had to remind her, it's like, babe, when your nervous system is chronically stressed, you're always operating this like anxious buzz. Making quality decisions, let alone making decisions, can be really challenging because your system is already overwhelmed. So if there's any fear that, am I going to make the right decision? What if I make the wrong decision? And you start to kind of like future cast in anxiety about all the things that could potentially happen, you just start to freeze over time and you don't make any decision at all. And that's just like, making decisions can be tough enough sometimes, but you think about having a really activated nervous system, you're not acting from clarity. You're acting out of like almost survival instinct. And that's where there's a lot of risk in the decisions that we do make. A lot of doubt will come into that space, or you'll feel it. It's like, oh, I don't know if I should have done that. No, I don't know if I can go back and do something different. And then we're spiraling again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always just important to notice, like, in the decisions, like, where am I making this decision from? Am I making it from conscious sovereignty? Like, I feel clear and grounded in myself in this moment, and I feel adept to be able to handle regardless of what direction that takes and what that response is. Or am I making a decision because I just, like, really need to get this off my plate and I'll deal with repercussions later, right? It just induces more stress.
The value of making decisions from the right state.
Which might require patience, like what you were saying.
Is to pause.
The pause, yeah. I love pausing.
Pause. So I think that's one of the valuable things that it's afforded me. Being okay with the pause.
What were you equating pausing to before? What did pausing mean to you?
Something was wrong.
As opposed to, how do you feel about it now?
I'll elaborate on that. I had a conversation with a family member this week, and rather than rush, I took my time with the words I was saying. And those pauses brought them anxiety. What's wrong? Why aren't you saying anything? You still there? What's going on? Why are you taking so long?
I know who this person is.
And I
But
had
that
to
was mirrored
say,
in you, no?
and I had to say, for the probably 25 years, is sometimes I take time to express myself. Just because I'm silenced doesn't mean I'm not still here.
He's just compartmentalizing his thoughts. You're gathering from the ether. That's what I love about one of the events we had. It was talking, they're like, I love when you're in that space, because they're like, I'm so excited for what's coming out of your mouth next. You know, those moments where David pauses and you're like, he's gathering intelligence and he's going to say something.
The Tetris
epic.
blocks are lining up.
Exactly. They're like, I can't wait for what comes out of your mouth next, because it's going to be good.
Well, I'm starting to really appreciate, and that's one of the things from the Tantric study, the importance of the words that we use.
Yeah.
When God speaks, it is good. Humans have the ability to err. If we can get more into the side of the column where what we say becomes real or is true, then we incur less of a karmic debt. And
we're just so impure.
so,
I say that with so much love, obviously, as I'm like reading the Bible. I was like, yeah, I mean, we are an impure species, but also, like, again, it's like so contradictory, right? Where it's like, in that impurity, we are so pure.
Well, Tantra has the three impurities: the impurity of individuation, purity of differentiation, and action. And it's essentially the three misbeliefs of I'm not enough, I'm not safe, I need to fix this. And instead, resting, holding, pausing in the belief of I am the universe, I am God, I'm always safe, which means I can play, and I can enjoy this.
Interesting. Very interesting. Permission for all of it. I mean, I think that's the part of the human condition, is like, we get to experience all of it. Whether or not we allow ourselves the ability to do so is a whole other game that we are playing. But being able to kind of sit in the knowing that, like how you're saying, it's like, I am God. For me, my reflection of that is like the Holy Spirit exists within me. I have access to God anytime I want. Because of that, what I say still matters. What I say still creates a reality. Like, I still believe in that. And how good for me it feels to know that at any moment when I'm just really struggling to be self-sufficient, that's not actually my task. I feel sometimes like more with the Christ consciousness energy or whatever, that it's like, no, you can be self-sufficient and like you can do whatever you want. And to me, that's just not true. It's like, no, there's an element of spirit that you're just completely bypassing that is also orchestrating every single second of every single day. So to say that it's like, it's me, right? Like I did all that. It's like, no, that's a little bit narcissistic. It's a little egoic to me in some capacity. Sorry to burst this bubble, y'all. Not sorry, actually. Puppet.
That's there's a misunderstanding there of being separate.
Yeah, I think that's the other part. Like that's the individuation, right? That somehow we are separate from it. It's like we came from that.
What do you think you're made of?
Yeah.
God.
I'm made of the Holy Spirit and the fucking dirt. Like
which God made, right?
Exactly. So like, no, like it's just.
How can you not be God if God made, if like you're made from
exactly
whatever it is that word means to you?
This is what I love about mysticism in general, is because I feel like mysticism gives a language for something that is so ineffable and really hard to grasp, because when we think of spirit or we think of God, you could put a figurehead at it and you could say, oh yeah, it's this dude who looks like this and blah, 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 right? But in general, it's matter and it's energy. And for me, I always say, like, I don't mind how people relate to it. I don't mind if they call it God, spirit, Hare Krishna, whatever. Like, that doesn't matter to me, because it's still all the same source energy at the end of the day. It's just expressed differently based upon sociocultural backgrounds. So there is, I mean, it's interesting because then you think about Christian theology where they're saying that, that there is one God, but you think about Indian religion and philosophy where there's like different gods and they all have different things. And at the end of the day, there's still one root entity, whatever that is. Personal belief.
Exactly.
Subjective.
I think taking the time to actually just, it doesn't really matter which is true. It matters what your holding of that belief implies for the way that you conduct yourself in the world.
Absolutely.
Because the belief of what you call it, what it actually is, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you choose to show up, what the implication of that belief is for you. Because then what you do in the world is in congruence with what you believe. Otherwise, because you don't want to do something you don't believe in.
That'd be a misalignment of values.
Exactly. You'd be out of harmony with yourself.
Yeah.
And I think if you had the choice to do everything in a way that aligned with what you truly believed, then you would probably choose to do that. Or maybe not. And that's the whole point of being human, is that
That's the conundrum, no?
Every potentiality, at some point you get bored and go, I want to try something different. I'm gonna do this one not in alignment with what I believe and just kind of see what happens.
And the pendulum swings to the other side and you get a little taste of the other side. I think it's all necessary.
Where did we end with relationships?
Well, I think how we're relating this to relationships is the fact that, I mean, what we're talking about here is being able to hold the poles, like being able to hold the duality that all exists and nothing exists, and it's all coming from the same source energy expressing itself differently. And I think, I mean, we could take this a layer deeper in another podcast. I mean, polarity would be an example of this, where, you know, what are we as humans labeling the experience in an effort to understand it more deeply?
And how is that relating to our relationship?
To our relationships? Just relationships in general.
Yeah, and to our relationship. So,
We're
which
equal
is it? Do you like
opposites.
to be seduced or
Equal
to be the
opposites.
seducer?
I'm a switch.
Can't choose.
I like both. Sometimes I'm just too lazy and I'd rather be seduced. Other times when I'm feeling like really energetic or really connected to myself, it feels good to be the seducer. Mm-hmm. Is either one inherently good or bad? No. Unless I'm doing so to take or extract something from you without your consent. Right? And there we start to talk about, okay,
Well,
there's
that's
like a
not for the
shadow
benefit.
side.
That's the benefit
That's
of
not
you.
exactly.
That's not for the benefit of us.
everybody. We talked about that last night. So it's like having that awareness, right? It's like, where, if I'm going to cross into quote unquote evil territory, that would be where it is. It's like, oh, you have something that I want and I'm going to get it one way or the other, you willing or not, right? All of a sudden the energy is so me focused and about my desires and less about collective good and well-being. That's where I feel like we start to fall off. We start to miss the mark a little bit of like the
seduce for our own benefit, but take the energy from the
I
other.
could either seduce, I could seduce for myself because I want gains, for instance, and I'm going to get them. Or I could seduce for the benefit of all parties in the room, knowing that we are going to amplify each other in creating positive impact and change in the world. And that's what you're talking about. It's a values alignment. So I'm not coming into a room to extract energy from anybody. I'm coming in to amplify what's already available.
What if what's available is not good energy?
Then I wouldn't want to amplify it. But I can amplify what I wanted to amplify.
You wouldn't.
What?
You wouldn't want to amplify what's bad energy, but other people might.
Well, that's where we see the division. That's why we're even having this conversation of like,
for personal gain
evil,
or for collective gain.
Yeah, like what's actually happening.
Right, and I think that's what Tantra speaks into, is when we believe ourselves separate and unsafe, we act in a way for the personal gain rather than collective gain.
Well, that's survival.
Yeah,
if we look on a nervous system
survive.
trauma-based level, it's like it's me, myself, and I. It's survival.
And that happens in relationships, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, the second we rub up against tension or friction, our safety gets activated. And so we will immediately, automatically move into whatever our version of survival mode is.
But if everyone's just doing their best, then rather than the nervous system feel the need to drop into survival, it can just pause and not say or do anything, but just rest.
What if it actually is all congruent? And I love that, because I think for some people that's probably going to explode their brain a little bit and cannot comprehend that could be a reality. It's like everything is congruent. Everything is synchronistic.
Synchronistic.
Yeah.
Congruent. Already.
Last thought I'll say is that in psychedelic studies, we were talking about this around synchronicities, and people's perspective on synchronicities. And there's people talking about these moments like, oh my God, yeah, I'm so in flow. And then there's just moments where I'm not in flow. And I'm like, what if that's actually what if that is the synchronicity? It's like all of that is destined, if we're going to look at it that way, to happen, including the challenge, which is still synchronistic. But because you don't like the way it feels, we somehow label it as like, oh, well, now I'm out of flow. It's like, no, you just hit the necessary growth edge needed to expand beyond your current reality.
I was listening to Stephen this morning. He was saying how the challenge is God testing you. So it is in synchronicity, like you're saying. It's like, no, it's still part of it.
Yeah, that's part of the game, honey bunnies. I'm so sorry. That's a part of the game. The challenge. It's not, I'm all of a sudden out of flow. It's like, no, you just hit a growth edge. You just rubbed up
You just
against
haven't
something that
enjoyed
you're
it.
unfamiliar with.
You just labeled it as bad.
Because people don't like challenge.
And this is why it's not about good and bad.
Exactly.
It's about, can you be in that harmony with it, in that flow with it, even whilst it's down here. You know, Stephen's talking about this peaks and the troughs.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he's still here. He's just making a path for you to get up there.
Exactly. Just because I was a green 5 today, I might be a yellow 1 tomorrow. It doesn't mean something bad has happened.
Exactly.
Life is just lifing and it's moving through me.
That's one of the things for me as well. I think I said it to myself this morning. It's like, if you were an amber 2 or something today, I would have in the past felt concerned with that. Or it's like, oh, it's fine. I'll just catch her in the next wave. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and for myself, it's like, catch each other at the next wave. Like, I know it's coming back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's not going down. It's just going around and catching the next one.
Totally. What we're talking about is like nervous system capacity. And so recognizing that we all go through these waves, these roller coaster moments. It's just a matter of like, okay, sometimes we have really high peaks and we near a threshold around that. Or sometimes we have really low peaks and we start to near a threshold with that. So it's like noticing, okay, like what is my normal? Like last night when we did our check-ins, I was a green 2, which for me is pretty average. I tend to fluctuate from a green 2 to an amber 2. That's my normal everyday. I am somewhere between baseline green 1, green 2, amber 1, amber 2. So for me, that's nothing to be concerned about. That's just like, did I get good sleep that night? Have I eaten breakfast? Am I hydrated? You know, like just how are the basics of life moving through me? Then when circumstance shows up, okay, now maybe those colors start to shift. That energetic state starts to shift.
So thank you for saying that green 2 and amber 2. And that's your zone.
That is my baseline. That's my
that's
typical,
your zone,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing, so with the waves, there's mathematics involved, but a wave that doesn't keep going through time just goes in a circle. So it's a loop. A wave is just a circle expressed over time.
Right.
Which means if you're going from a 2 to a negative, green 2 to an amber 2, that's your loop. Sometimes you might get a spike, but you still come back to that loop, right?
Yeah.
What if the loop expanded? That would mean with a green 5 would likely come an amber 5 because it's a circle. And so to be able to enjoy a green 5, I wonder if that means needing to expose to the potentiality of an amber 5. It's like people who, you can only lose $1 million if you've won $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. And you only know how to gain that million back if you've gained $1 million in the first place.
Wait, what?
That caught you there. It's just that's the cycle repeating, right? So you make $1 million, you can only lose it if you've made it, which means, but if you've made it once, you can make it again. So then that loop
You know how to do it.
Continue. Exactly. I like to think of it more. It's like I guess waves. I call it waves because it's emotional waves, but I think more of like peaks and valleys, like a bell curve. And so, but what you're saying.
It's why Tony Robbins gives away so much of his money, because it keeps him in that loop. Otherwise, he would lose at some point just to come back to balance.
Yeah.
Love is currency.
Part of what you were talking about there, I talk about this a lot in my master classes, where we're talking about if you can strip away the identifier of emotion. So if we take off the labels of our experience and we just start to look at it as varying degrees of sensation. So if you think about really, really deep fear has an intensity of sensation attached to it, just like an orgasm has an intensity of sensation attached to it. But whatever our emotional label that we cast on it, then all of a sudden starts to create a good experience or a bad experience, right? Or a good or negative association.
Saying you can have a bad orgasm. That was my takeaway from that.
No, but we're talking about, because you're saying if the green 5 is available, then the red 5 or the amber 5 must also be available, right? And so that's kind of what we're saying is like, oh, if you can manage intensity of sensation, the threshold of that, it doesn't matter if it feels good or bad, because at the end of the day, it's just intensity of sensation. So can I be in this moment with the intensity of what I'm experiencing? The challenge, the fear, the quote unquote bad, right? So it's again, it's like if we actually strip away the subjective identifiers that we have used to create understanding of this experience of life, we start to feel it on a more body-based somatic level that's going like, oh, this is just intense. I don't have to put a good or bad label on it. It's just intense. Right. What do I need in order to be able to be with this moment?
There's a really interesting anecdote that I think it was Tim shared, where a baby in a house experiences a loud truck going past. It has no concept of truck, outside, road. All it knows is that it's just felt this huge vibration experience through its body. And it's not good or bad, but it creates impact. And so it creates a response in the baby and it cries.
Yeah, exactly.
Only because it's not understood it and can't hold that energy.
Exactly.
Like something's happened. It's like when the earthquake. It's just a loud truck going by.
Yeah, sometimes the house vibrates and it could just be the garbage truck. Other times it's like an actual earthquake. And I'm like, I don't know where I need to run or go. So you get recalibrated.
What if it were just a big truck?
It's God's truck.
It's God's truck.
I think that's time. I feel complete.
We're over.
Then I'm definitely complete.
Okay.
Thanks, whoever was here. It's nice to see you.
Final word?
Truck.
Immersion. Contact massage. We didn't get the chance to talk about it. I wanted to ask you about the contact massage experience we had.
Maybe we should just do the next podcast episode on contact massage. Okay. There's a lot to express about all the many sessions that we've been doing with clients. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah. And I want to speak into it more, breathe life into it, because I think there's value there for a lot of people.
Of course. And if you're still listening, if you made it to the end, if you watched the replay and you made it to the end, we're still going to do a tantric intimacy immersion online. So there will be a link in the description where you can figure out all the details of that. You can sign up, whether you're in a partner or not with a partner, all good.
And if you're in Mexico City, come
have an experience with us.
Contact massage.
It's so special.
Magical.
It's so magical.
Okay.
Well, thank you all so much for being here. Yeah. I hope that you all have a beautiful day. We'll see you next Friday.